Rivalries. We're going to be talking about rivalries. My name is George. Bob is here, and Teddy Espereña is waiting in the wings also with his uh, underwear and socks and stuff. Today, we are going to be talking about rivalries that date back to probably the 50s and 60s and 70s. We're talking about Ateneo, San Beda, and Lasal. Pwede natin sabihin, they're, they're probably the noisiest gallery or galleries in the NCAA and UAAP. And our guests can attest to that. You can see one of our guests now, si Gary Sabinosa. Every time you watch a San Beda game, you always see his face. The
And
camera.
you'll be wondering, George, bakit natin nilagay si Gary sa pagtungad. He
Right.
provides the refreshments.
Yes, he provides the refreshments. Sumandatik ni Tita pa rin. Good morning, Bob.
Good morning, George. And
Morning.
Teddy is in a very weak-spotted area na ayaw niya i-reveal kung saan But he's dating his wife whose birthday it is now.
Oh, happy birthday
Miss
also.
Minette, happy birthday. So ayun, nasa labas. So he's trying to come in pero try natin.
Yung makapal ba yung pader? Kaya mahirap pumasok ng signal.
Tsaka yung walang alingaw-ngaw na lumalabas.
Yun.
Anyway, I'm just happy that we're bringing back these rivalries. Pero sana hindi naman magkainitan.
We've been at it for the past 40 minutes, no? Aga nagdatingan si Coach Frankie Lim came in at around 9:25, 9:20, and ayun na, yung sunod-sunod na Albert Imperial also. So we're gonna have a lot of fun and non-stop talaga mga kwentuhan ngayon. Okay, so Gary, we go first with you. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning. Morning, George. Good morning, Bob. Morning, guys.
May tugtog na ba, George?
Wala ba?
Wala, hindi pumapasok. Okay.
Before anything else, happy anniversary kay Albert tsaka sa kay wife na si Paz.
Happy anniversary, Albert. Ayun, very nice.
45 years.
45 years. Wow.
Yes.
Okay, very nice. All right, Albert, welcome to Boomer's Banquet. We're so glad you could make it one of probably the diehard Bedans we have around. No?
My pleasure to be invited.
Mm-hmm. And Gary tells me you're so well informed about the history of the rivalries of San Beda and everything, and we're going to be taking a lot of information from you. Okay, and of course the coach himself and the player, the player of the championship San Beda team, which upset Ateneo in the 1977 finals. Good morning, Coach Frankie Lim.
Good morning, everyone. Nice to be here.
Morning.
Very nice. Okay, so let's get this ball rolling right away. Albert, we go with you first. What do you think started these rivalries, these rabid rivalries between between San Beda and Ateneo, San Beda Lasal, Ateneo Lasal, etc., etc.?
Well, it's based on the stories shared to me by my uncles who came from the Blue School.
Mm-hmm. You can't even mention the name of the school. It has to be the Blue School.
Well, it could be Letran, it could be Ateneo, but anyway, it's the Blue School at Loyola.
All right.
My uncles all studied from the school, and they were telling me stories about the pre-war NCAA when it was still played at the Nosaleda gym somewhere in Pasay. And the rivalry was already there. If you look at the championship won by each school, 21, 20, or NCAA was organized in 24. So come 2024, 100 years na. I think the first champion in 1924 was either Ateneo or San Beda. And then if you look at the records, 3 taon sunod, or 2 taon Ateneo, 2 taon San Beda, it went all the way up to the 50s. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, kwento lang yung inabot ko nung 30s and 40s. But even in the 50s. But I became conscious about this when I was enrolled in San Beda in 59 as a kindergarten student. That was the championship team of Garamendi, Big Boy Reynoso, et al. So we won in that year. Ang medyo naging conscious lang ako ng mga 60s na. Medyo masama yung 60s namin kasi we almost made it in 67, Tejada et al. But we lost to Roel Deles and Company of JRU.
JRC pa.
JRC.
That's
then.
right.
And then 69, we were the weakest in 69 because, again, the blue school was the strongest then. But I will share you one story. They swept until they played the last game in the second round against a lowly red team that defeated the Ateneo. So they were deprived
is that Makua? Red team?
No. It's the red and white team of Mendiola. We defeated that star-studded team. Later on, yung isang player ng Ateneo, si Panlilio, he became my boss. CPL. CLP. He became my boss at the BOI. We shared a lot of stories then. And sinabi naman niya, and, so difficult to attain a perfect run in a season.
Yes, that's right.
Hindi naman.
Isa lang coach lang ang magawa nun. Ayan, yung katabi ko.
Si Frankie lang. Teka muna, before we go on ahead, G-Boy Cabochan is also with us. Bob, can you let G-Boy in? He's with a young crowd, so to speak.
Bata yan si G-Boy.
I lost him.
You lost him?
Bring him back. Hopefully he can come in now.
Okay, sige. Coach, you were part of championship teams and everything. How did it feel to play for the red and white?
To play.
Yes.
Kasi when I started playing for San Beda, I was 16 years old.
Wow.
76.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't get to play.
What do you mean you didn't get to play?
No, I didn't get to play. Bangko ako the whole season in 76. Yeah. Because I was very young.
Who was your coach that time?
Kaloy Loisaga.
Oh, all right.
And swerte ako to be a part of the team. And I practice every day. Sama ko sila Chito, sila Abe, And the whole year, hindi ako nakapaglaro. Although kasama ko sa team. Then in 77, we had a new coach, si Bonnie Carbonell.
Oh yeah, right.
And he gave me a chance to play. Binigyan niya akong breaks and maganda naman, maayos naman ang nilaro ko. And especially when we play Ateneo.
Why so? Why so, especially when you play Ateneo?
It's the pride, it's the ego. Alam mo na, syempre pag Lasal, Ateneo yung kalaban mo, ibang level. And masyadong, it's a lot of pride at stake. So, there was a time we were playing, we were supposed to play Ateneo in Rizal Memorial. And the players of Ateneo, sila Watson, sila Gaston, Carpio, national players to eh. And they were in the national team. I think they left. So ang naiwan sila OG Narbasa. Sila Ponce Valdez, Estrella, mga yun. Anyway, we played them in Rizal Memorial. And ang project ko, si OG Narbasa. Even before, in our practices, before the game, we had supporters si Naning Santos. You remember him, Albert?
Yes.
Naning. Yeah, Naning was teaching me already how to guard OG Narbasa. Parang nung araw pa lang during those years, parang may scouting report na siya.
Wow.
Oo. Hindi pa uso scouting report, meron na siya. And he was teaching me how to guard Si OG. And OG was like averaging like more than 20 points a game. 23, 25 points a game. Magaling si OG. Naglalaro siya sa Ateneo. And sabi sa akin ni Naning, you cannot stop him. Hindi mo kaya siruhin to. Magaling eh. So, ang dapat ma-achieve mo, dapat makascore siya 10 below.
Bibigyan lang ng limit, ng cap.
Bigyan mo siya ng 10 points below, you did your job. Okay na yon. Win or lose. So, tinuruan niya ako everything. So, ito na, game na. So, ang ginagawa ni Coach Bonnie, pag andun sa loob si OG, nandun ako sa loob. Pag nilabas si OG, labas din ako.
Parang langaw,
ganong matchup. So,
langaw tsaka ano.
So, natapos yung laro, we won. And OG scored 8 points.
Yun.
And that was the start of everything sa karir ko. Malaki kinalaman ni OG. I don't think he knows that. But malaki kinalaman niya sa start ng karir ko. And simula nun, game na yon, wala na. Going up na talaga lahat. Including yung pagpasok ko dun sa Mika.
Yes.
I played sa Mika 1 year. And I was the rookie of the year on that year. Wala na, simula nun, dire-diretso na ako. Papunta sa national team, then pati sa team ni Ron Jacobs. And normally noon, pag nag-national team ka, may tryout yan di ba?
Yeah.
Papupuntahin kayo sa Rizal Memorial, magka-tryout kayo. But with the national teams na sinalihan ko, we were handpicked by the project director before si Boss Landing. And andun kami lahat, sila Ito Isguera, sila Ed Cordero, Ricky Relosa, sila
Bay Cristobal.
Si Bay nakasama ko sa RPU. Pero hindi dun sa national team, sa kay Ron Jacobs.
Ito, Frankie, di ba? Yan yung Northern Consolidated na team na puro Amerikano na yung pinasok. Pero ikaw, survivor ka. Isa ka dun sa mga natira na Pilipino na naglaro. Konti lang kayo nun. I remember that.
Kadalawa na kami ni JB.
Yeah. JB.
Grabe. By the way, let's welcome Teddy Espereña. Nagpa-swab test ka ba, Teddy?
Ha?
Nagpa-swab test ka? Di ba pag nag-check-in sa hotel, nagsa-swab test?
Oy,
birthday kasi nung misis ni Teddy ngayon. So, happy birthday, Nenet. Happy birthday.
Oo. Salamat. Ay, Frankie, may nagpapabati sa'yo. Kausap ko lang kanina. Binanggit mo na yung pangalan, Ed Cordero. Yung kaibigan ng matalik.
Oh, by the way, si Ed Cordero is our guest next week, Teddy.
Okay.
Kasi pag-uusapan natin next week, yung lumang UAAP, yung bago na glamour. Kasi yung glamour ng NCAA, dinala doon nung dalawang eskwela. At mukhang papasok pa yata yung San Beda.
San Beda, no?
Sa liga na yun. Soon.
Anong kwento doon? Papasok ba o hindi?
Ang San Beda sa UAP?
Tanungin mo si Gary. Anong tingin mo, Gary? Ano sinabi ng may hiwagang bola mo?
Hindi, wala pa wala pang klaro. May mga plano, pero
plano
wala pang malinaw talaga.
Alam mo, Gary,
na siya ngayon, by the way.
Mas madali kung palipati mo yung Ateneo Lasal sa NCAA.
Good answer.
Mas madali yan.
Dapat si G-Boy makapasok, si G-Boy makakasagot ng tanong mo.
Oo nga nasaan ba si G-Boy? Nandiyan na ba si G-Boy?
Hindi na siya makapasok
Gawin natin, George, papasukin na natin yung next school pa. Upuin muna natin sa bench yung tatlong Bedans, tatlong Lions natin. Tapos pasukin natin yan. So, see you later.
Okay.
Albert, Jerry, and Coach Frankie. See you later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Kumain muna kayo ng suman.
Yep.
Nasaan na, Gary? Hinihintay namin. Okay, George.
Okay. Sino susunod natin? Lasal naman. Sila Henry and Jason. Yeah. Jason.
Hi, good morning.
And, good morning. And Henry Ataide. No? Yung Henry Ataide, I always see his name in the papers. You were very active, or you're still active now on the board, right? For LaSalle.
Well, for LaSalle, for NCAA, I was involved with the board for the NCAA for about 18 years when LaSalle
18 years
and LaSalle Green Hills. Yes, when we joined the NCAA. Now after that, they moved me to the UAAP, and I was involved with the UAAP for 3.5 to 4 years. But then I had an accident. Had a badminton accident, and I was sidelined for about 6 months, and I felt that it wasn't fair for my partner in UAAP board to get beaten up alone. So I had to give up my post, and somebody else has to be there with him kasi pare, madugo sa UAAP. So,
grabe away dyan, no?
But my involved, ay grabe, hindi mo lang alam. I mean,
Henry, tell me something.
It's fun. It's fun.
No, just between us girls, no? Totoo bang pinag-iinitan ng LaSalle doon sa UAP board?
Always.
Talaga. Kasi you have to realize the reasons for that, no? LaSalle, Ateneo, Sambeda, we started the NCAA 1924.
Yes.
Kasama dyan ang UST, University of Manila, NU,
yes.
And then at that time,
UP,
of course, was the UP started it all. He was the one who got everybody together. But then they included these other university schools. Kasi college kami noon, no? So in 1929, they called it the Big Three. Ang UP, UST, at saka NU, they started their own tournament. Kasi the word was that they were playing with boys and they were men. Okay? Kasi kami sa LaSalle, Sambeda, Ateneo, mga gwapo lahat kami. So cute kami.
Nanonood yung mga mami nyo. Mga mami nyo nanonood.
So they felt that they wanted to be on their own. So then the history comes. And then when Ateneo left the NCAA because of many reasons, and I think LaSalle and Sambeda and Letran were the reasons. Okay. And then we also left. Now, when we left, one thing I can't understand is, bakit sa Ateneo, pag they left NCAA, the moment they applied to UAAP, they were accepted immediately, 1 year. Okay? Kami...
Kayo 6 years yata.
Sorry. 6 years bago kami in-accept. Tapos probationary pa. Okay? And
kasi kasali ng Ateneo sa board nun.
Correct. Kasi, alam mo ito on record to. Alam mo mga Atenista ito, okay? Pare, they put, in the words of Mr. Ricky Palu, okay, who's my good friend, he's my poker mate, okay? Why will we allow a school that got us into trouble when we were in the NCAA? They're troublemakers. Yun ang sinabi. Okay. And then, ito pang masama. When CSB and LaSalle Green Hills tried to join the NCAA naman, pinaghirapan din kami 5 years bago kami nakapasok. Tapos yung probationary period namin, sa Benda naman ang galit. Okay? Sabi ng Sambeda, you left us. You left us in the cold. Okay? So, why should we accept you? Buti na lang, San Sebastian, mabait sa amin, pinasok kami. Saka JRU, kasi puro mga lasalista yung presidente. Okay. Pero, ito maganda. Pagpasok namin sa NCAA, sabi ng Sambeda, you cannot be green. Alam mo yung original color ng CSB at LaSalle Green Hills sa NCAA? Black and white.
Yes, oo.
Black and white. Ginawa kaming referee ng UFC. So we slowly had to put the green. So to answer your question was long, but to answer your question, they were all pissed off with us. So up to now, it's still the same thing. All right. So I have so many interesting stories, and I think I may not be allowed to talk to because I have a non-disclosure contract with the NCAA and UAAP. If you want to know the secrets, you call me, okay?
Yeah, let's just have a drink over that.
Oh yeah, you should know the stories I know, man.
Jason,
Like
what can you say?
Oh, actually, I'm kind of surprised I'm here. Si Yat ko lang kasi tumawag sa akin eh. So sabi niya, pwede ka magdala ng kampe. So I thought of Mr. Lasal himself, Mr. Henry Ataide.
Yes. No.
Yeah, we're actually batchmates with Henry. And our claim to fame is, or was, we're batch 78 high school kasi. That was the last year of Ateneo in the NCAA. So we knew they were leaving the next year. So
and you celebrated.
Oh, yeah. No, every game, talagang we look forward to them. Diba? Talagang gulpihan yon after every game. Sabi namin, last year na nila. So let's get it on. Diba? Then one time, we're called actually the Bastards. We're called the Bastards by our group. The reason we're called Bastard, because one game, a volleyball game, and we were favored to win that game. But unfortunately, we lost to the Blue School. So, unfortunately, the game was played in LaSalle. And
so unfortunately for the Blue School,
Green Hills.
Yes. There was a big maybe Gep can Gep later can remember that game. So they won, but going out, and the whole fourth year was there because there was a CAT namin. So as you imagine, nagkagulo lahat. I mean, sadly, now we just laugh at it, but that was a sad day because even yung coach binugbog lahat. And there was a car there. There was a car there with an Ateneo sticker. Right? It was, they were carrying it, breaking the windshield, only to find out, Lasalista pala may-ari. Yung kapatid niya, may sticker na lang Ateneo. So after that game, the next day, school day, the principal called us in. Hey, you bastards, you're a disgrace to the school. So until now, we're called Bastards.
That gave birth to the name Bastards. Wow.
Yeah. So 78 was last year.
George, yes. You know, George, yung title mo, rivalry camaraderie. It's perfect. Kasi the rivalry started way back, in the 1956, technically, against with LaSalle Ateneo. What my cousins and my brothers would make me kwento was that kasi Ateneo and San Beda were powerhouse in basketball. Wala ang LaSalle, okay? We were always the bottom of whatever you call whatever the tournament was. And and Ateneo, or the school that cannot be named, they believed that they invented basketball. Okay, so it was very hard to beat somebody that has invented basketball. Okay, well, San Beda naman thinks they invented football, but that's another story. Okay, so it was very hard to be able to be. So the rivalry was really between San Beda, Ateneo, and then Letran was even called Murder Incorporated.
Yeah,
I'm sure if you ask any Letranite, diba, they were called Murder Incorporated. Talagang
sila Astorga yun eh.
Talunin sila. But finally, tama. And finally, si Mumar, sila grupo yun. So, finally, LaSalle won a championship in 1956. Okay. We broke the streak. Because at that time, it was called the Zamora Cup, wherein you're supposed, if you get the 3 wins, you will keep it. Just like what Mr. Kuwanko did for the UAAP now. Diba? He get those. Anyway, so what happened there was that when LaSalle finally won, okay, we had the bonfire, and this is according to my brothers, because I'm youngest of 6, and my eldest brother is 20 years older than me. So he was part
sila
of
Kaloy, brother mo.
Yeah, Kaloy is the third. Yeah, Kaloy Ataide is the 4th brother ko pa. My eldest brother is 80 years old. Okay, so ang kwento nila sa akin was that yung nanalo ang LaSalle finally, ang ginawa during the bonfire, kasi wala pang traffic noon, so pwede kami umabot sa Loyola in less than 15-20 minutes. Okay? Ang ginawa ng mga walang hiyang LaSallista, bumili sila ng manok, linagyan ng stick, at pinagbabato doon sa field ng Ateneo kasi noon sa Katipunan dikit yung field.
Open tayo eh.
Walang drive-thru diyan, walang parking. Open yan open yan. So pinagbabato doon. So, nang nangyari yun, binawian naman kami ng Ateneo nang nanalo sila the following year. Nag-2 straight ang Ateneo. So in their bonfire naman, pinagsusunog yung mga pangalan ng mga players namin. So basically, we only got into the rivalry area in the 50s.
That was the time of Kurt Bachmann.
The 60s and the 70s came, which yes.
Kurt Bachmann.
And what happened there was that yes, correct. And what happened there was that eventually in the 60s and the 70s in the NCAA, it was very tumultuous. It was really bad. There were times when they would even cancel games, and they even canceled the season. I'm sure the Sambeda people know this. They even canceled the season because of the violence that there was. One of the reasons why Jason was talking about there was that bugbugan in Lasal Green Hills was because one of our batchmates during a basketball game was stabbed in Araneta Coliseum. And that's how bad it was. Yeah, that's how bad it was before. So, but the rivalry now is now camaraderie, as what they were saying. When we finish the game, we all go there in Araneta Coliseum, the restaurants there, and the Ateneans, they join us. Or in the NCAA naman, the CSB, Green Hills, we joined the Sanbeda. It's now really a camaraderie, but before, it was really a not only rivalry, but gangsta. Gangsta. Yeah, diba?
Gangland Wars. I remember one of our priests one of the judge. Yung Jesuit, Mini Cooper yung kotse. Paglabas ng Rizal Memorial, nakabaliktad na yung Mini Cooper niya.
Ginawang dining table.
Talaga, alam mo kami sa why we left the NCAA was that in Lasal Taft, there's a bridge that connects to Rizal Memorial. We had our own gateway. Okay? So that's our escape route. Pare, yung mga letranista, they were in the creek. They were under the bridge. And they got the people in the bridge.
Kasama kaya si Ed Picson?
I have no idea how they got in that creek.
Para mga Vietcong yung mga yun.
So tapos yung parking lot namin na katabi ng if you go to Lasal, if you go to Taft Avenue, there's McDonald's now there. Advertising pa ako, sorry. But that used to be an empty parking lot.
Parking lot.
I mean,
parking lot
dirty,
yun
dusty, rocky parking lot. You know what? Umulan ng bato from the LRT. I have no idea how they got on the LRT track, and they were throwing bricks at the cars. So I mean, that's how bad it was. That's how bad it was. But and the Sambeda Lasal rivalry came only really when Ateneo left there, and it was really more of in the football that we were really at each other's throat. But in basketball, it was the sole domain of Ateneo and Sambeda in the 50s, and especially in the early 60s.
Yeah, Loizaga versus Ocampo yan
nakisaw-saw. Yes.
Kaya tuwa tayo kay Lim Embeng.
Ganun yan, grabe talaga.
Si Lim, right.
Si Lim Embeng. Lim Embeng naman.
Sila Mike Bilbao.
Kasi hindi na
sila Mike.
Hindi na namin naabot si Kirk Bachman eh. Okay.
Oo nga eh.
Kay Beng lang kami.
The story of Kirk
Bachman. Sila Tony Henato, hindi mo na naabot.
The payong.
Yung payong. Yung hinabol yung electronista na yun.
Charlie Badjon. Sige man.
Naka-frame yan sa bahay ni Kirk. Naka-frame yan. Binigyan ng ono yan ng Lasal. Yeah, so that's why I think the rivalry really, I mean, now the rivalry is not so much because it's what you guys were talking about a while ago, yung co-ed. The co-ed system has really changed, no? But just remember before in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and the early 70s. We were all boys. It's just an all-boys school.
And literally boys, not
school
even
and in
men,
grade school.
boys.
Yeah, boy.
Boys. That's why we
Never
look
grew
good,
up.
no ba? That's why galit sila sa amin.
Okay, before we continue with...
Yeah.
Sige. No, before we continue, let's call on the boys in blue naman, and then let's call all of you back in. The boys in blue first. We'll bench you two first, and then we'll call you back in. Just hang on in there. All right, Bob?
Sure.
Good morning.
Ito na yung boys in blue.
Hi guys, good
Enzo,
morning.
yun.
Good morning. Good morning.
Nasaan si Gep?
Nasaan na si Peter? Baka nagbanyo.
Nawala eh.
Hindi mapigil. Enzo, you're an historian, ano? True blue Atenean, and you're still in Ateneo right now. You're a professor, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm teaching in Ateneo. I'm actually one of the coaches for the Blue Eaglets for the juniors team as well.
Oh,
so there. Yeah, I'm having a great time listening to all these stories because, in my family we're a pretty big family, and I have titos from all across the spectrum, no, from Beda, from La Salle and Ateneo, and I've ever since I was little, I've been hearing so many stories of how the rivalry was so intense. Before yung sinasabi nila Henry kanina na yung mga may sticker ka lang ng Ateneo outside of any stadium.
Ay nako.
Patay ka, expect mo na may basag, may dent, mga ngalaw and all these things. And I'm really having a great time just hearing it parang first hand from all these big fans. Kasi right now it's a far cry from those days. No,
so you never experienced that in your lifetime in Ateneo?
Well, when I was in high school and I used to watch the games live in Araneta, na hindi pa ganun kahaba yung mga pila. Kasi when I was in high school, Ateneo was in its dark ages in the 90s. Yung mga time nila Richie Dixon, nila
season.
All heart talaga. Pero you look at the scoreboard, we were tamba kami by 20, by mahina na ang 15, mahina na ang 15 points at that time in the 90s. So we were really there just, for the experience to cheer and everything. But kung lalabas ka, may mga konting kansawan, but yung mga tapunan ng bricks, tapunan ng basagan ng kotse, yun lang hindi ko na naabutan. Kaya medyo I kind of feel that I missed out on that golden age, so to speak, of rivalries and the hooliganism, if you want to call it that or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I mean, part of the school uniform was seat belts.
Panghampas.
Oh.
Well, we only look at that those ages romantically naman, Enzo, eh. Dahil ang naman nun is we have this we call them rivalry still in different arenas, pero ang binabalikan lang naman yun as part of history, and that's the fun of it. Kaya lang wag na natin balikan total dahil masakit yun eh. Masakit yun. We're just celebrating that.
Yatko, ikaw, no?
Yes. Wow.
You're a leader of the Babblemen.
Yes.
Ano nangyari yung Babblemen na yun?
Ano yan eh? We're a group. We're diehards. We've been watching since the 70s, since we were grade school, high school.
Well, the height of the violence.
Yes. I was third year, and I was there during the last game of Ateneo na hindi closed door. That was the second game of the finals against San Beda. As member of the high school band, so marami kaming storya, no? I lived that, Enzo. I lived that. Yung kasi being part of the band, you're given a jacket and uniform. Tapos during that time, wala pang uniform. So, papunta sa Araneta, we're in a school bus, lahat kami naka-casual. Sa loob lang kami nagpapalit. Tapos, bago umuwi,
hi, good morning, Bobby Hachanova, who's watching. At saka siya kasi, yung brother niya was a teammate of mine dun sa UST Intrams na, pero played for the Blue Eaglets dati, si Toti Echanova. If you're watching now, Toti. Hi, and Bobby is watching from Toronto, Canada. So, good morning to you, Bob.
Good morning. Yun yung tapos, yung sinasabi nila noon, kasi the very first game I watched, NCAA was mga 1967-68 eh. The brother of my brother-in-law, girlfriend pa lang na ng kapatid ko, sinama ako. He was a player for San Beda. So it was in Loyola Center, Blue Eagle Gym, better known as the Blue Eagle Gym now, no? Presently known. No, Loyola Center. Nagbabatuhan na ng bote sa bleachers. Late dun. So that was my orientation with NCAA. You know? Tapos ako, yung unang tikim ko, the very first experience, kasi yung Ateneo Lasal, you know, I hear it from my cousins, from my titos, and ganyan. Kasi we're a family of Ateneans talaga. Nung una ko siyang na-experience ng live, I had tennis lessons sa court ni Felicissimo Ampon sa Biak na Bato.
Sa Biak na Bato. Oh.
So I was in yung PE uniform namin, naka-Ateneo shirt ako, naka-Ateneo shorts, grade 4, grade 5. So I think I was waiting for my turn, o tapos na, nakabisikleta pa ako. Nilapitan ako ng 3 lasalistang grade 4 ako, so hindi ko alam kung high school o college, pero mukha na siyang matatanda, di ba? So parang nabully ako. They started taunting me. Buti na lang nandun yung anak ni Mr. Ampon, I forget his first name, pero anak niya yun, na bedista.
Si Mel. Sabi niya, Melesio Ampon.
Sabi niya, pare, bata yung kinakatalo nyo. Grade school yan. Tatandaan nyo na. So that was the first time. So, Henry, Jason, sorry, no? Dun, may deep-rooted hatred talaga eh. So, issue ko yun, childhood issue. Pero anyway, then I became a member of the band. I played for the Prada team of Ateneo na tinalo namin yung Lasal sa championship ng 1988. Tapos nung 19... Diba? So,
kailangan ito psychiatrist eh.
Hindi, pero no, but it's fun now kasi nga, like, I'm sure Enzo would attest to this, no? Like, let's say the Bastards. Tapos kami, we're known as the Babblemen. Before any Ateneo Lasal game, wherever, it might be in MOA or it might be in Araneta, we stay in one restaurant lang, the Bastards and the Babblemen. And we have nakatagong mga scotch, nagiinuman kami, we share our drinks. So, ganon, pero naglolokohan kami, plastikan, diba? So, but no, we have pictures to show that. But no, we're good friends now. We can be in one venue and not beat each other up.
Yeah,
so that's the biggest thing. Hindi, yun ang sinasabi ko kanina kay Mr. Imperial. Ibang-iba na ngayon. Kasi noon, if you were familiar with Araneta,
yung hagdan,
wala pa yung big screen, yung scoreboard sa gitna. So, basta one side of the court would be an electronic scoreboard, tas the other side would be yung karton pa, yung pinapalta na gano'n, di ba? Plywood. Oo, di ba? So yun, naging yung ilalim ng kahoy na scoreboard, yun yung sa loob ng venue habang nag-game, halftime, ganyan, nagrarambulan doon whoever's playing. Pwedeng Ateneo Lasal o San Beda Lasal, Ateneo San Beda. Doon pa lang, sa loob pa lang, nagkakagulo na. So, ibang klase noon. Tapos, it became so violent that nagkaroon ng rule. And so, I don't know if you know this, that the winning team is given 15 minutes lead time to go home. So, sasarahan muna let's say, Ateneo nanalo, uwi na kayo, sasarahan muna namin yung San Beda Gate o Lasal Gate. Tapos, kasalanan mo na kung nagtambay ka pa doon, di ba?
Kukuyugin ka talaga.
pag pinalabas ka at nandun ka pa, hindi na kasalanan ng NCAA yun. Kasalanan mo na. So I have another story, Banda, no? Banda. So Ateneo won against Letran. Rizal. Ang paradahan dun sa may tennis court, bus. So we were given 15 minutes lead time. So I played the trombone. And inside the case of my trombone, mga tubo, yanto. Kasi may guard sa nagche-check ng gamit nagkakapkapan Anyway, so nanalo Ateneo, palabas. May yung railing na nakakadena. Yung ang tawag doon, yung steel gate. Pero so nagmumurahan. Yung mga letranista nasa loob pa, nakalabas lahat ng kamay. So nilabas ko yung ko, pinag-aampas ko, di ba? So, gaganunan sila. Biglang mamaya, baril! May nakalabas na baril, takbuhan naman kami. Ganon kagulo nun. And this is martial law, martial law na nun.
Yeah. Ang dami pang stories niyan. Player na Ateneo, Stingray yung kotse, nawala yung windshield
Oo, ganon.
May hollow block sa front seat na.
Bawal talaga magkaroon ng sticker, bawal mag-Ateneo o Lasal o basta school shirt. It takes a lot of guts.
Oh yeah. Oh. Ang tapang mo
Tsaka
talaga.
yung si Gepi kasi player rin ng volleyball Tapos coach kami ng GAL Games. Your second year.
Ano nangyari sa kanya?
Hindi ko alam Hindi na nag-text It's the birthday of the mom. Anyway. We were in Lasal. We were coaching STC Manila. Talo kami. Pero dahil medyo kilala si Gepi because of volleyball, naririnig na namin, ayan na yung dalawa. So dumadami. Grupo ata nila Henry yun nila Jason. Medyo nabangan kami. Hindi naman kami naggalaw pero lahat ng mura tinanggap namin mula yung stadium nila doon hanggang Ortigas. Tapos merong konting habulan. Pero that's all in the past.
Yun ang masaya no? That's all in the past. Okay, Bob, anong gagawin natin?
Pagsasabungin na natin yung tatlong school.
Alam nyo,
pero as a result of this, baka mawala ako at si Teddy paminsan-minsan at saka minsan si George. So ang maganda nito yung salubungan ng mga kulay talaga So this is going to happen. It's bound to happen.
Bago yan, pwede bang tanungin natin sina Enzo at si Yeye? Sana natanong din natin kanina. Pwede bang i-name niyo yung top 5 Ateneo basketball players? Yung mabilis lang, pumasok sa isip nyo, top 5.
UAAP, NCAA o buong history?
Kahit ano. Basta sa history ng Ateneo.
Ako.
Sige, game.
Siyempre, basta I'll name names. We had 2 Olympians, si Joy Cleofa, si Marte Samson. They were part of the 1972 Munich Olympic team, no? I think, tapos syempre, andyan si Ernais, 69 yan. Ang King Eagle namin that time was Chita Fable. Of course, there's Ed Ocampo. In the 70s, it was Steve Watson na panapat dapat kay Limimbeng, pero hindi pala sila nag-abot. And then, of course, Oji Nervasa. Tapos Watson.
Lima lang.
Hindi na nag-practice every decade Parang ko, sabi niya.
Mahirap pag lumalag. Mahirap.
Basta yung top of mind. Si Enzo.
I was about to say Arnaiz and Ocampo historically, syempre. Tapos I have a soft spot for Olsen Racela, of course, from the 80s. And then more recently, siguro sasama ko na, I don't know, maybe L.A. Tenorio, maybe Kiefer, either of the Ravenna brothers, so Kiefer or 30. So yun, may recency bias lang ako syempre. Kasi yung iba dyan na handle ko or na coach ko.
Oo nga naman.
Coach Enzo, nandito ngayon nga si Jolo Ewan ko kung nakikinig sila.
Jolo Mendoza's there?
Yes.
Wow. Yeah, may potential din yan si Jolo maging one of the all-time greats. May potential yan.
Of course.
No, but the nice thing about Ateneo kasi grassroots magmula grade school ganun na yung talagang tinetrain na yung and dire-diretso. That's why may foundation talaga.
Ganun rin naman sa ibang eskwela. I think LaSalle had that also, but there came a point, I think in the 70s, wherein they started recruitment, no?
Yeah.
Pinapasok ko na isang taga-Lasal para may magre-refute na ng statement.
Henry, when, di ba si Limembeng was recruited from Shanghai Shek?
Yan. Yes.
We recruited him from Shanghai Shek. Oh, by the way, my Atenean brothers, I just heard the bad news that Father Bernas has passed.
Yeah, Father Bernas passed this morning.
Early this morning.
Yeah.
Prayers for Father Bernas.
I asked for prayers in my Fly High Facebook page. Thank you, Henry. Thank you.
I know him very well. I've worked with him. Yeah. So, sorry talaga, guys. And by the way, sorry also during that time. Kasi we did not know it was you in the volleyball team.
alam mo, kami ni Gepi yun eh. Kami ni Gepi, alam mo, kami ni Gepi, we really go way back.
But
Henry, umabot akong wakwak. Umabot ako ng wakwak. Sinabi ko na doon sa guard, bibigyan ko kayong pera, wag nyo lang akong pabugbog.
Tumawid ka sa Ortigas, dami pang kotse noon sa Ortigas.
Tanungin natin kay Henry yung tanong ko sa dalawang Ateneans. Henry, top 5, yung pumasok lang sa isip mo na sa listang player.
You know, when you ask that question, I was thinking I have to put it into two contexts, NCAA and UAAP. Kasi so sa NCAA ako right away off the cup sheet, si Senior Kurt Bachman, si Ortiz, tapos sila of course Lee Membeng, Mike Bilbao, all right, and we had this and then of course then you have Ren Ritualo, and right now I have so many names in my mind. I'll get back to you later. But those are the top 4 or 5 right now.
Si Mbala. Sige na,
pero dahil
national
sa inyo,
player
pinaalis nyo. Lagya kayo, putya kayo. Kayo may kasalanan yan eh. Okay.
Frankie, what about you, Frankie?
Frankie, top 5.
5 top Bedans, Lions.
Kaloy.
Marami yan. Siyempre, Kaloy Loizaga. Si
Frankie Lim.
Wala pa tayo nun. Si I think Abby King, JB Yango. Chito Loizaga, Chuck Barrero, idol ko yun eh.
Talaga si Chuck.
Teammate ko pero hangang-hanga talaga ako.
Yung naging asawa niya, pinsan ng best friend ko, coach.
Si BJ?
Yes.
Chuck was something else nung college kami. And on my first year, syempre nakaupo ka lang sa bench, nanonood ka lang. And idol mo yung Chuck Barrero. Talaga.
Frankie, may message tayo from someone familiar. Hello, Olen.
Ayun, Olen. Hello. Thank you for the picture.
Tsaka Frankie, tama ba? May anak si Chuck na nasa...
Frankie, what about
may anak si Chuck na nasa rookie draft.
Si Chuck?
Ng PBA. Oo, anak daw ni Chuck.
Hindi, wala.
Second generation Barrero.
Hindi, baka pamangkin.
Pamangkin? Okay.
John Barros, San Beda daw.
Meron na ata si Louis, anak niya.
Anak ni Louis.
Anak ni Louis. Okay.
Louis. Andon. Papadraft. Di ba, Jerry, dalawa anak ni Louis?
Pero isa lang ata yung magpapadraft.
Okay.
Yung naka-basis days.
G-Boy, you're so quiet.
Yan.
Ayan, tanungin niyo si G-Boy kung papasok sila ng UAAP.
You have no question, G. You have no question.
Papasok nga ba kayo na UAAP?
Hello.
O hinaharang kayo ng Lasal at Ateneo? Are you entering the UAAP?
Ngayon,
Coach Frankie.
Ngayon makakabawi ako.
Actually,
nawala si G-Boy. Ganon, prepaid rin siguro.
Ayaw sumagot.
Takot.
Prepaid.
Sabi ko naman sa inyo
puro prepaid.
mas madali pabalikin yung Ateneo at Lasal sa NCAA. Kesa yung papuntahin mo yung Sambeda sa UAP.
Ito nga yung usapan. Mag-tournament muna tayo.
Hello.
Maglaro muna. Walang balita eh.
Hello.
Yun. You're in, G-Boy.
Yeah. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Actually, it's really personally, I really want, of course, Sambeda to enter UAP because it's really fun to play with Ateneo and Lasal. Because I think yung rivalry, because it came up because I think those schools, let's include that one also, because when you talk about college balls, you talk about pride and passion, and those four schools really carry that virtue. Kaya ang sarap panoorin. Papunta pa lang ng venue, kinikilabutan ka na. So I think everyone can attest to that, no? So round robin pa lang, nagbumurahan na, nagkakansyawan na. And I can remember, I don't know if Mr. Atayde was able to watch that game in 2014. It's a field game. I think Embalo was there, and on our side, our foreign reinforcement at the time was, I think, Ola. That was 2014. That was a finals game of Field Oil. But Lasal won by that last shot of Hurricane. So it was really a heated game between Lasal and San Beda. So yeah, personally, it's really my wish. I mean, I think all
wala.
Ay, nawala na naman.
So yun,
before we continue, sayang tutuloy ni
pinutol ng NCAA.
Pinutol ng NCAA.
Berto Bolig, of course, is Robert Bolig, probably. Hello, good morning.
Really? Sino si Bolig?
Sabi sa usapan. Yeah. Nice comment, Berto, sabi ni JC Lorito.
To my
player ko yan, ha?
Teka muna. To my Lasal brothers, there was an incident also in the 70s. I was in second year high school. I called to STC Manila, kami ni Kepi dahil nag-coach kami. Anyway, there was one Friday, we were asked to go to, the girls asked us to go to where else? Naka-Ateneo shirt ako. Punta akong where else? Naka-Ateneo shirt. Kasalanan ko. Alam mo, Henry, Jason, nilapitan ako ng bench boys. Yan si Ike Gangoso.
Si Ike.
Si kaibigan ko.
Oo.
So, nilapitan ako ni Ike. Nila, sabi, kung gusto mong wag mabugbog, uwi ka na, di ba? High school, mag-isa. So, sige, umuwi na ako. Anyway, recently, Ike and Edu became friends. We drink together. So, we were in one island in Coron. Lasing na ako, kausap ko si Ike. Sabi ko, ikaw, bench boys ka. Binuli niyo ako nung high school ako, college na kayo.
Malalim talaga. Ay, kaya trist ang kailangan ito.
May hugot.
Ano naman, sabi ni Ike, pare, kung ginawa namin sa iyo, pasensya ka na. Just like what Henry said kanina. Tapos, when kinikwento niya yung kay Edu, one time, we were in Kuwayan, si Edu, nilayo pa talaga ako, pare, pasensya ka na sa mga pinaggagawa namin nung mga panahon na yun. So, the friend, may rivalry, may mga katarantaduhan, but, at the end of the day, you become friends kasi sabi nga nila, they're the same people but different brands. Sabi nila,
Civilized.
isa lang ang tabas niyan. Ewan ko kung papayag yung mga bedista na pareho silang tabas ng with Lasal. Pero Frank lang nagkaiba. Frank.
Hindi, alam mo, actually, ang mainit doon yung mga high school naman eh. Di ba?
Oo. Totoo yan.
Mga college naman, wala eh. Tahimik lang. It's just the high school that was really, yung testosterone was very high.
Even now.
Pride, even in school pride.
Even now, during the games, meron ng, ewan ko, Enzo, if you've heard that. May tawag na sila yung mga toxic tito.
Meron pa rin konti. Meron pa rin konti na ganyan. And remember,
toxic titos. And my kids both went to Ateneo. Yung pag nakikita nila yung
parang tataka sila.
Hindi, parang ayaw nilang
nahihiya.
na kasama ka.
Kinahihiya.
I always explain it to them kasi nga nung 70s iba eh. And yun ang hubog namin. We were brought up that way.
So, ang tawag sa inyo ngayon, Yeye, lunatic lolos. Hindi na toxic dito.
Bubble men.
Pwede natin i-rebrand yung George eh. Pwede natin i-rebrand yung toxic titos. Huwag natin gawin toxic. Tititos na lang.
Ayun. Tititos.
And before I remember, after paglabas mo, you have to be in a group of at least 50 or 60. Ganun kadami kayo. Hindi pwedeng 10 kayo, 5. Kailangan 60 kayo. Tapos, imbis na umuwi na kayo, pupunta pa kayo ng Harrison Plaza. Kasi ibang school, andun naman nag-iipunan. Okay? So, grabe talaga. I'm really happy na, lahat tayo lumaki na sa ganun, tama na yan, matatanda na tayo, di ba? Let's just enjoy the game. But Yayin is right. Meron pa rin mga ibang alumni na hanggang ngayon never outgrew it. They're still there.
Nag-aanap pa rin ang away,
Alam mo naman, mananalo, di ba? Alam mo naman, may laban.
Naghahanap pa rin ng away.
Forget those times anymore. I'm not happy.
But for those who are watching this who are not part of the school systems ng Ateneo San Beda at Lasal, we just want to remind you, lalo na yung mga NCAA members nun, like JRU, JRC dati, Mapua, Letran, San Sebastian, at saka yung Trinity, kasali rin sila nun. Hindi namin kayo ina-out dito in case you want to participate and join in and do your own experiences. Sali lang kayo at bato nyo lang. And maybe we can have an episode featuring you naman kung meron gusto magpa-represent. We'd be happy to have you talk about your own fun rivalries ng panahon na yun. So,
may question ako. Bakit yung mga cheer ng mga eskwela, hindi ko maintindihan? Halikino, Hinikadina, ganun, no?
Sa Lasal, Recticano.
Di ba? Saan ba nakukuha? Tapos,
Recticano has
actually, hello, Kuya.
Wait, Recticano.
Can I share?
Recticano has a meaning.
To give you a trivia, yung Indian yellow San Beda.
Recticano means...
Go ahead, Jiboy.
Nawawala si Jiboy. Nawawala.
So, merong meaning. Eh, bakit yung Lasal, yung kanta ng Notre Dame ang ginadap?
Yeah, Recticano means... Yeah. Well, first of all, the song of Notre Dame, because we had Irish brothers who were the...
Well, we lost him also. Nawawala si Henry at si G-Boy. So, ayun.
Yes.
Jiboy, go ahead.
Explain why.
Kuya, so share lang ako. Yung Indian year ng San Beda, because we're talking about the cheers of each schools, I was told I think it was composed by our beloved, the late Tito Mon Ventosa. Yung umpa-umpa, wala palang ibig sabihin yun. So it's just the beat, the melody. Arguably, no. I mean, Ateneo Lasal can oppose my statement, no. But most people see that it's the most entertaining cheer, not only in the Philippines but in the whole world. You know why? Yung mga players namin before, sabi nga, ginaganaan sila pagka tugtugog. Sabi na, parang feeling nila, pati yung kalaban ginaganahan din. Pati yung mga kalaban ng San Beda ng Red Lions, whenever Indian is being played in the venue.
Oh, yung Indian yan, grabe talaga yun.
G-Boy, as with the band, pag yun na chinir ng San Beda, solid yun, nakakakinabot yun.
You know, I can compare that with Goste. I can compare that with Goste.
Pag tinutugtog yung umpa-umpa, ito sabi sa akin ni Al, who was playing for the seniors of Ateneo. And si Pio was player of juniors. Sabi niya, alam mo, Gary, pag tinutugtog yung Indian Yell niyo, pati ako ginaganahan. Ginaganahan din sa maglaro lalo. Ang ganda
ano rally song eh. No? Ang ganda.
Rally.
Sa Lasal, gustong-gusto ko nun sa Lasal, Siyempre, hindi ko sinasabi sa mga kasama ko, di ba? Pero pag nag-Marlboro na sila yung Lasal, okay Alam mo na, ang sarap ng experience talaga ng games. You know, I shared that with my kids. Ang swerte nga nila, telling them, ang swerte, we can all watch together, wala tayong takot. Kasi during our time, hindi.
Henry.
Yeah, you were explaining Recticano.
Can I talk about the Lasal cheer? Okay, so Recticano means right to rule. Okay, the right to rule. And then you've got the Notre Dame cheer, which because the Irish brothers were the ones from schools before. That's why we came up with the alma mater during the 60s. Kasi, and then going back to San Beda.
And that's why we're green.
Because of Notre Dame.
Yeah, because of the Irish. Yeah, yung Irish brothers. Yeah. Actually, the schools, the original colors of LaSalle in the U.S. or in France is blue and yellow. It's only here that we're green because of the Irish brothers.
Oh, okay.
Very nice. No? That's trivia. Yeah.
Now, kumbaga sa Ateneo naman, O Canada yung inadapt sa O Canada yung kanta natin, di ba? Yun
Di ba nauna yung Ateneo? Nauna yung Ateneo sa O Canada? Hindi ba?
Hindi. Inadapt talaga yun.
Tapos, I think it didn't sound like a battle song, so that's why Blue Eagle the King was composed by the late Senator Raul Manlapos. Which, tapos we celebrated the 75th. I actually directed the video for the 75th anniversary of Blue Eagle the King. So that was how many years ago? Natalo tayo sa NU nun, Enzo.
I think
that was the last year of Kiefer.
Yeah, 2014, I think.
Pwedeng balikan natin yung mga reasons bakit nagmelo yung mga konting awayan o rivalry. Kanina sabi natin.
Dahil
naging co-ed, di ba?
Dahil din sa edad yan.
Dahil sa edad. Nag-co-ed.
Yung mga magugulo noon.
Naging civilized.
Tsaka hindi na makahataw na sinturon eh.
Wait, there's a question here about the word animo.
Ayun, San Beda ba o Lasal?
Well, but before I answer that question, I want to ask San Beda, are you a red lion or a red Indian? You have an identity crisis. You're going umpa, tapos roar. Ano ba? Walang lion.
The Indian came out because of the red and the white.
Ang lion nasa jungle, yung Indian nasa wild west. Ano ba?
I guess the Indian came out because of the colors red and the white. And it represents war. Maybe. Diba? It represents war.
So you're an Indian or an arrow. So you're an Indian or a lion. You have to decide one of these days, pare. Going back to the...
Yeah.
Diba?
Going back to
I
Animo.
was in high school, yan ang pinapag-isipan ko. Anyway, going back to Animo. A lot of the schools in the NCAA were using Animo. Even Ateneo used Animo. I recall. So
it's a general term, diba?
So you want to ask, it's a general term. Now, siyempre, we all have to have marketing, what you call it, line, diba? And siyempre, so Lasal took the animo in another word because kami, we have a definition of animo. Unlike all of you, yung animo nyo is basically strong in spirit. Diba? Yan ang animo. Animo is spirit, diba? So, sa Lasal, kami, animo means strong in faith, committed to serve, and one in communion. Meron kaming
ang dami namang ibig sabihin yan.
Primus.
Parang non Henry, ha? Absent of non Henry.
Honestly, nung bata ako, ang initial notion ko lang sa animo nung bata ako is, mali pa ako noon, aanhin mo. Narinig ko yung una sa Iko, animo Iko.
But seriously, animo now is being used worldwide by Lasal. Kasi in Lasal, we have over 58 countries with Lasal schools. And the word animo is basically used in mga Latin America countries. Okay? So, that's why it's... So amin na yun. Sa inyo na yung iba. Okay? Tapos na yan. Wala na usapan. Now you guys are talking about Edu Manzano.
Si Edu.
Animo.
Okay.
Hinamo yata. Animo. Hinamo.
Do you know that Edu Manzano was in the NCAA basketball team?
Yes.
I'm sure.
Remember this. Nakalaro ko yun.
Or kasi
just like Haji Alejandro played for San Beda, di ba? Si Haji.
Yes.
Talaga, liit na yun.
But you know,
pero juniors.
You know why the real
Juniors
reason,
also, yeah.
No, but si Edu seniors, and the reason why they had to put him in the team was that before he was in the team, he was the one in charge of doing all the rumble before. Okay,
para hindi na siya manggulo.
So what Lasal did was, para hindi siya manggulo, nilagay sa team. So every time nagle-lead kami ng 10 points, papasok na si Edu. Talakpakan na lahat. Edu's a good friend of mine and he will remember those stories.
Si Edu yung taga-ubos ng Sankis sa bench.
Yun.
Wala pang Gatorade nun eh. Sankis na quarters.
Wala pa. Sankis. Tama.
Sankis nun. Taga-ubos siya doon. Asa na si G-Boy? Nawala na.
Sentro.
Pero even na halftime, Henry, do you remember Jason, Gary, Coach Frankie, tsaka Sir G-Boy? During that time, masaya yung mga halftime, yung mga cheering. May kanya-kanyang gimmick.
Yeah.
So there was a time, I remember this clearly. So a cheerleader in a Lasal jacket went out. Pumunta sa Lasal side. Tapos, I don't know what cheer, Lasal spelling or whatever, go Lasal. So inumpisahan niya, di ba? When Lasal was cheering already, hinubad yung jacket tapos pinag-aapakan. So, ganun kasalbahin nun. Miski yung mga cheerleader. Tapos ang Lasal naman nun, may totoong pana, itututok sa Ateneo. Allowed.
Ito. Lasal, Ateneo came out with a fried chicken na may nakatusok. Lasal came out with a chicken na may nakatusok na araw.
Ayun, ganun.
Ayun. Tapos ang ginagawa ng
Ateneo. Bawal yan.
Bawal na.
Sa akin, entertaining yung halftime na sa Ateneo, lumabas yung si Javier. Sino ba yan?
Si Jimmy Javier.
George Javier.
Entertaining talaga. Nakakatawa.
Nagkaroon pa ng time,
Ano ginagawa doon sa loob ng court?
Nagkaroon pa ng time, nagsabay ang Lasal and Ateneo cheerleaders.
Bago lumabas ang Ateneo team, lalabas muna yung parang guy na may dalang eagle.
Yeah.
Galing sa zoo, sa grade school. Dala-dala yung eagle. Agad ganun yung eagle. No? Di ba?
Bawal na rin ngayon yun. Magagalit yung mga animal.
Bawal na yun.
Titirahin tayo ng pita noon, di ba?
Bawal na yun.
Pero alam mo kung ano yung pinaka-core
There was a quest.
Pinaka-corny halftime. Yung mga matatandang cheerleader, nagpe-perform ng halftime.
Hindi makatalon.
Di ba? Parang tapos na era nyo eh. Pabayaan nyo na sa mga bata.
Yeah, pero sa San Beda, hanggang ngayon, walang tatalo pag lumabas na yung matatabang Indian.
No?
Actually, yung anak ko sa Ateneo dati, ng grade school, pinapapunta rin sila, nag-cheer sila pag halftime. Tawag namin sa kanila Blue Baboy Battalion. Dahil ang tataba eh. Mga grade 1.
Yan ang gusto ko yung tanong. Kasi si Sev pinost yung question na yan eh. Why do they always have to be fat? Sorry, malusog.
Highly recruited yan sa San Beda.
Can somebody answer from?
Cute, it's cute. Nakahubad pa, di ba?
No. Marami tayong pinsan, Joy, na naging Indian. Ang hindi lang mataba na naging Indian natin pinsan, si Bibik Kuna. Si Bibik Kuna, he was also a mascot nung time nila Frankie. Bago lumabas yung team na San Beda, lalabas muna si Bibik. Dala-dala yung naka-jacket, tsaka jogging pants sa San Beda, di-dribble niya yung bola, then titira niya. Pag hindi pumasok yung tira niya, he gets the ball, he lays it up. Pag pumasok, sigawan na. Labas na yung team nila Frankie. And he was also part of the Indian.
Buti na lang pumasok. Paano pag hindi pumapasok yan? Hindi makakalabas yung team.
Hindi kami makakapasok.
Ay, naku. Saya nun.
Alam mo, before Lasal was always trying to be relevant. That's why when we couldn't win any basketball games and we were always talo, we started the singing of the alma mater whether you win or lose. Okay, and then we made our alma mater short. Because before, the original song of Lasal was yung 3 cheers for all the Lasal, like the Notre Dame song. So when we came up with that alma mater, we decided to sing it after we lost. Because before, you are not allowed to sing the alma mater only when you win. Okay, you can only sing that. And so what we did, we came up with a song that's very short so that when we lose, we could also sing it. And that's how it started na both schools can now start singing your alma mater. In fact, Ateneo changed their alma mater to a shorter song, di ba? Your original was by Mang Lapus, if I recall.
Yeah, that's the battle song. That's the fight song. The alma mater song is the song for Mary. So
song for Mary talaga yan.
Yeah, when did you guys what you call this thing compose
start
that?
Singing it?
Because I remember in San Beda, believe it or not, Frankie and my friends, my uncle Raul Rocco was the one who wrote your San Beda cheer. Your San Beda alma mater. Raul Rocco.
Yes.
I am a Rocco. My middle name is Rocco. We're the only Roccos. We're the only Roccos that did not go to Ateneo or San Beda. We're the only ones who went to LaSalle. So
bakit nga naglasal ka?
You have the Ateneo. Well,
Henry Rocco, si Jason Loco.
Bakit ka nga naglasal? Don't you think it was a mistake?
No, we saw
everybody was going to Ateneo and San Beda, tapos here you are going to LaSalle. There's something wrong.
Parang yung plan
my father was from San Beda.
Oh, exactly my point.
Yun, di ba?
Didn't you see the light?
But no, it was very dark there.
O baka naman kasi may entrance sa Ateneo at San Beda.
Parang sa amin yung aming Kuna clan. Ang Kuna clan dalawa rin.
Ateneo San Beda lang.
And the other side Ateneo. Yun, sila LP Kuna, sila Charlie Kuna. Yan. Sila yung mga Ateneo side.
Yes.
Kami
so because my eldest brother was the one who first started in LaSalle. So, because we lived right beside LaSalle.
Anong batch yun, Henry? Kabatch nino yun? The very first?
80 years
old.
My
eldest brother is 80 years old. So you have to go way back.
Hindi kasi Luigi Tabuena was my boss.
Luigi is Luigi is 69 sa high school.
69. Class 69.
Yeah. There was a time, boss ko siya di ba? I'm an art director. But when he was my boss, I was a film director already. Sabi niya, Yay, can you please design a logo for my batch? They call themselves Segundo ba or something. Basta they're the second batch ata of Green Hills.
That's
69.
Yes, because batch 69, batch 68 is the first graduate. Were the first graduates of LaSalle Green Hills.
Oh, I think they call themselves Primero, di ba? Tapos sabi ni Luigi sa akin,
the first ones,
sabi
sila
ni
Mike
Luigi,
Enriquez sila yung batch 68 eh.
Yeah,
sabi niya, design mo ako ng logo. Yun na, after a week of trying, sabi ko, Luigi, hindi ko talaga kaya. Wala sa dugo ko, hindi. Talagang nanginginig yung kamay ko.
Ayaw mag- Ayaw mag-glue.
Ayaw.
But my history of my family is that my grandfather studied in LaSalle, Hong Kong. All right, so that's where Bruce Lee also studied in LaSalle, Hong Kong. So, ganun, that's why War Freak and dahil kay Bruce Lee.
Kaya pala violente.
War Freak din.
Yeah. War Freak. So yun. So that's why
I'd like to
Bruce
ask.
Lee pala, Lasalista.
Yun, Lasalista si
Yeah, Lasalista siya.
Bruce Lee. Idol ko yun eh. I used to watch his.
Sobra.
I didn't know he was a Lasalite.
Talagang maraming Lasalista sa showbiz.
So now you won't watch him anymore. Okay. Alam mo, like I said, sa LaSalle Ateneo San Beda, nahirapan kami to enter the NCAA UAP dahil pogi lahat tayo, kaya nahirapan na. Pero alam mo now that the San Beda people are here, in the NCAA, paring pinasok namin ng CSB Green Hills. Luckily, nag-champion kami on our third year sa CSB. If not, they would have extended our probation to 4 years. Ganun kahirap kami sa
Really?
sa NCAA.
NCAA?
Yeah.
Kailangan mag-champion ka muna.
Yeah, kasi what we did was but the point was that we were really receiving so much heat and they really was giving us a hard time. And then we had some issues with regard to uniforms, players, and so forth, so on. So luckily, we won the third year, and during that time, they could not say no anymore. Kasi imagine, nag-champion kami ang CSB.
Yeah. I have a question about those issues. No? Why do they give schools a hard time?
Yeah. Oh,
Bakit instead of making it easy for them, kasi more schools, mas masaya, di ba?
Yeah.
Right now in the NCAA, how many teams do you have? 10?
10. I think 10.
Kaya ang tagal ng season nyo, coach.
Hindi, kailangan marami para mas masaya, di ba? Kasi the more schools you have, the more pag nag-champion ka, mas merong ibig sabihin na,
mas marami kang tinalo.
Mas marami kang tinalo. And you're the best basketball team of the year, di ba? Kasi dami mong tinalo.
Yeah.
Just imagine kung nasa isang liga
Coach Frankie, pwedeng taga-UST sumagot.
Oh, sige.
Kasi daw, pag dinagdagan yung 8, liliit ang share sa kita.
Hindi na school lang nag-uusap dyan.
May tanong ako, Henry, Jason, bakit ang representative sa UAAP ng LaSalle is biglang Zobel, not Green Hills?
Yan, Henry, the story.
Okay.
Why Zobel, not Green Hills?
Yeah.
Yes. But before that, there was a question, where did Danding Coangco come from?
Yeah.
He was from LaSalle. Yeah, he was LaSalle grade
Bacolod.
school. Grade school. He was Bacolod. Then he went to TAF for college, but he was not able to finish TAF because of the war. Anyway, so the question to you was,
when did Danding start
why
supporting
Zobel?
LaSalle?
Danding started supporting LaSalle in the 70s during the Alfie Almario, NCC.
He recruited 2 of our best players, si
Arnel
Morabe and Arnel Manyosca.
Yes.
Oh, Manyosca.
So that was during the NCC season. So that, and then there was a little fallout, but then he came back. So the question why Zobel was chosen, not LaSalle Green Hills. and this is in the records of the UAAP, which I was able to make. I was able to find, okay? Because Ateneo said, why will we accept Green Hills when that's one of the sources why we left the NCAA? Because of that incident natin in 1978, 77, 78. Okay.
But that volleyball, the volleyball.
Yeah, the
Yes,
volleyball.
yes.
Who was our representative that time? Si Ricky na?
No. Wow. High
Hindi
school
pa
ba tayo
yata.
si Ricky na? No, I think he was still playing eh. Hindi pa yata. But yung, kasi
No.
yung classmate namin
accept
si
as a-
attorney,
86
not
time
to accept
UAP eh.
Green Hills. In-accept ng Lasal after 2 years eh. 86. Okay, in-accept ang Lasal top. But hindi
But
in-accept
not
ang
Green Hills sa junior. Yeah.
For that main reason. Oo. So ano nangyari? Pumasok ang Sobel. Sobel was established in 1978. Eh. So it was a very, very young school at that time. And it was co-ed.
The Bengals
So it was
sila.
perfect for the university concept.
When I asked that question to my isa pang tanong yon. What's the difference between Lasalites and Lasalians?
And Lasallian, oo.
Yung may Lasallian friends, they say kasi ang original grade school ng De La Salle, Taft,
Sa Taft.
is yun yung napunta sa Sobel.
Well,
Hindi.
Yeah, si Jason.
during our time, there was no other high school. So when we graduated Taft grade school, we had to move to Green Hills. But actually, kung may Sobel, I would have moved to Sobel. May babae ron eh.
Oo nga.
Wala pa Sobel nun eh. So we had no choice but to go to Green Hills.
No. Kasi what happened was that they were phasing out the grade school, high school from Lasal Taft. So that's why high school 69 ng Lasal Taft, 68, 69 of Lasal Taft was the last one. That's why they called themselves the last of the mighties. Okay, and then the grade school, they were phasing them out also. Because what they wanted to do was make Lasal talaga total university. Lasal Taft, totally a university. So they came up with...
I have a lot of batchmates in kinder.
Excuse me.
STC.
STC.
Tayo, STC tayo.
Sila Dino Laurena. Dino's my cousin.
Yeah.
Si Dino?
Actually, my nephew.
So
ang daming Lasal doon.
Yung question mo, what's the difference between a Lasalite at saka
Lasallian.
Before, we were all called Lasalites. Ang tawag sa amin because we are the graduates of a Lasal school. So Lasalista ka, elitista ka, Lasalista ka. So then came in the 80s wherein the 80s and 90s when the vocation of the brothers was going down. There were little brothers left, so they depended on the lay person to run the schools and its partners. So then they said, okay, no more elitista, no more must be a graduate of a LaSalle school to be able to be called a Lasalite. You are now called Lasallians, meaning everybody, including the faculty, including the parents who are not even alumni, including all the services, basta involved ka sa Lasal, naging Lasallian ka. That was a worldwide change that started in Rome. So that's why we have the oldies, ang mga sinasabi nga ni
Lasalite pa rin.
Yung mga diehard titos, yung mga crazy titos na nasa lista pa rin sila.
Yeah.
Mga bata. Iba kami dyan.
May ganon
Iba kami.
May distinction pa.
May distinction eh. So, yan ang yan.
Ito si JC Laurito, Henry, may tanong dito na malupit. Why do you keep getting players from San Beda High School? Tuloy na tira sa amin.
Patanin nyo rin
Magaling ang programa yun. Magagawa namin.
Magaling si Badulato.
Bakit ganun ang San Beda, no? Ang ganda ng high school program.
Idol ko si Badulato talaga. What a program he has.
Sipin mo, L.A. Tenorio,
David Casio.
Every single even now.
Tapos there was a time, San Sebastian, sa amin, si Buena Fe, si Eric Salamat.
Part
of the 5 feet.
But yeah, San Beda's high school program is really, really good. Kami, sirs, when I coach my team, and every time when I look at the schedule, sinicircle namin, syempre, Lasal. But when we have San Beda, kahit anong level yan, midgets, aspirants, juniors, when it's
yun.
San Beda, we circle that because we know nahandaan natin yan. Kasi ang lakas, even when the big names, mag-seniors na sila, we know may papalit dyan na talagang magaling, coming up from their program. It's a really different breed, pag bedista na basketball player.
Yes. Because you know why? Because the idea is because ang maganda sa San Beda is that even the school, they support them since grade school. Grade 3, grade 4, they see the potential. Tinutuloy ng eskwelahan, binibigyan na ng scholarships. Bakit? Sa eskwelahan nyo ba? Grade 3, grade 4, grade 5, nagbibigay tayo ng scholarships? Wala! Okay, walang San Beda.
Para may bubog.
Grade 2, grade 3.
Kaya tuloy, most of the guys na experience maglaro ng basketball sa Praga or these other minor leagues, they always say, given na pag San Beda kalaban, ang pinag-uusapan, ilang kaya yung tatambak sa akin.
Ganun na first Prada team, pero wala pang San Beda na.
Kaya lang, may estudyante ako ngayon. I teach at John Robert Powers. Tapos I have a student who was a varsity player of a champion UAAP team. In fact, hindi lang sa UAAP, they swept all the championships even abroad na sinalihan nila. Alam mo, sabi niya sa akin, had I played with Ateneo or La Salle or San Beda, I could have been a better player. Tinanong ko, why? It's because of the support system of the students, everybody. Yung pag nasa loob ka ng stadium, punong-puno, talagang chinicheer ka, that would make you a better player. And that, that says a lot about the spirit. Diba?
You should have tried San Beda.
Hindi. Kaya hindi siya nag-San Beda. Paano? Glamorous na nga yung UAAP. Because of Kaya ngayon San Beda, it's just a matter of time San Beda joins the UAAP.
Hindi, alam mo, may magandang idea ako. May magandang idea happen, man. Bakit hindi na lang pag-isahin yung UAP and NCAA?
Yeah.
Then, may sumagot niyan. Ang tagal kasi. Ilan yun? That's about 20 teams. Ang tagal ng season, no?
Doesn't matter. You cut it short. Now, pag may nag-champion, national champion.
Ang sabi ng mga ang sabi ng mga academe sa boards, sa NCAA and the UAAP board, which I sat in both of them. And that has always been brought up every 2 years or so. And I was really for it. But the problem with our academe that sit in the board and also our presidents, they're looking at the study habits of the kids. Because ang concept nila is, for one semester, they can have low number of units and to be concentrated on basketball or whatever sport you are. And then when it comes to second term, you have time to recover. The national concept is a good one, if you ask me, for high school. Okay? Because of because iba yung college, I would say the requirements needed for college. But for high school, wherein the schools can control their year and how they schedule the kids, pwede yan. Because then it will be the whole year. Kasi they're looking at 1 year season. I understand, Frankie, we tried so many times.
I think it's just a matter of the schedule, scheduling the games. Like you cannot have weekend games only, di ba? Kailangan maglaro ka mga 3-4 times a week. And you can finish that in one sem. Then the problem is solved. Kasi sa akin, if you organize something like that, you cannot have all these school heads to be part of a board. Kailangan may isang tao na siya, parang commissioner, siya ang magpapatakbo ng liga. Kasi pag nagkaroon ng school head na kagaya ng Macom, di ba? May kanya-kanyang interest Tapos may magbabarkada. So, sa tayo, kontrahin natin to, di ba?
Paginitan natin Lasal.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, walang nangyayari. So, to avoid that, kuha kayo ng isang tao na magpapatakbo ng liga na walang kakampihan.
Yeah.
Di ba? Ganon ang the best. Kasi pag lahat may say, wala kayo ma-achieve mo. Diba?
Actually, actually, no 60s and 70s, yung back pa nun yung under Ambrosio Padilla, there was a national students basketball tournament.
Yes, I remember.
And then there was a national open. And the funny thing is, even dun sa national open, ang nananalo, the likes of San Beda. The likes of San Beda. No, tinatalo yung Ico, Ismael, mga Chelsea, mga ganun. That was amazing during those times. But I don't know, Enzo, are you familiar with those times also? Parang historian to si Enzo.
Well, I've only read about those times, and honestly, for me, as as a coach of a basketball team right now, I'm all for having something like that, like a national open, national tournament. We have something like that right now with Coach Eric Altamirano's NBT, which I hope can continue to grow. Kasi they're going international also. We have Phil Amps, Phil Canadians coming in. So I think that's a good initiative. And hopefully that will be really institutionalized, year in and year out, because it helps our grassroots programs and everything. Although the past few years, ang nag-champion din dyan, usually, if it's not NU, because NU has a really good recruiting program right now, it's San Beda also. Kasi San Beda talaga at the high school level, such a powerhouse annually, talaga, perpetually, parang gano'n. Galing talaga eh.
Yeah, basta Frankie, we tried. We even came up. First of all, putting the NCAA and UAAP in one boardroom is next to impossible. Okay.
Gulo din.
The pataasan ng alam mo na. Okay.
Uncle ni G-Boy can attest to that. No, si Jonas, he's on the board, di ba?
But that will be big. That will be big.
Oh,
kasi
definitely big. Mr.
Andun lahat, diba?
Manny Pangilinan tried to do it. He even put a cash prize of ₱1 million. So NCAA went for it, but UAAP said only half the teams joined, and it was not really the team A that we were expecting it to be. So you're talking about two different ideology, two different cultures that are very hard to put together. It will take another. Yeah. I don't know who, somebody else, but Mr. Pangilinan tried it, Mr. Cojuangco tried it.
It also
didn't work.
Sayang yung opportunity. Kasi if you win the championship, you will be the best college team in the whole of the Philippines.
Coach, they tried that with the PCCL kaso school year ending na, di ba? So medyo yung mga players wala na, hindi napagod.
Hindi magkasama yung UAP at NCAA. Maraming sumusulpot na liga. Yung mga one-time ba. Hindi kasing big nung pag pinagsama mo yung dalawa. Pag pinagsama mo yung dalawa,
at saka yun
na yun, di ba? Wala nang iba. Yun na yun. And
may mga may smaller schools na may magagaling din I remember when St. Francis of Assisi College, yung panahon nila Rani Dente Acampo, ang lulubig sila Albertara, diba? Sila Yancy.
Irvin Soto.
Yeah, pero magaling sila kasi nakalaban ko rin yung mga teams na yun. I was coaching San Beda Alabang that time. Malakas sila. Pero I don't think they were like NCAA, UAAP level.
Ganon.
Hindi sila ganon. Hindi sila ganon.
Pa rin.
They have players, but in teams iba diba?
Yung sa liga nila na sinasalihan, way over sila ron.
Para silang pro
Coach Frankie, maiba ko. Anong masasabi mo dun sa 97 applicants ng PBA draft?
Bababa yun. Maraming Phil-Americans na hindi nakakuha ng papeles nila. So, siguro, it's gonna go down by at least 15, 20 players. Mga ganun.
Pero ang
kasi
dami
parang
pa rin,
Madami. And ang talent level medyo maganda.
That's one of the biggest and deepest drafts, diba, Coach Frankie? And I think it's gonna displace a lot of current PBA players also. Yeah.
Kaya malaking bagay yung MPBL na matuloy. Kasi yung mga mawawala doon sa PBA na 50 players at least.
Probably.
At least may pupuntahan, di ba? Kawawa naman baka pag nawala ng trabaho yung mga
Yeah.
And yung MPBL naman, kailangan matuloy. Kasi gagamitin ng politiko yun. Diba? Election na sa 2022. Diba? Hindi, totoo yan.
Yeah, that's
Just put it bluntly.
Ito, natawa naman ako sa sinabi ni Wifey, coach.
Ang sabi.
All alpha males tayo. Sabay magsalita lahat.
lahat.
My grand nephew will try his luck this draft sa March. Si Anton Asisto.
Yeah.
Ano yun eh? Apo ng kapatid ko.
Pero sana,
I have a
may
question
wish.
to all of you guys.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
One of my
Go ahead.
questions is about, since we're talking about players, what do you think about foreign players again? I think that was very controversial in the UAAP and the NCAA, especially now that the NCAA.
Ban na.
Yung mga foreign.
Who the heck started it anyway?
Bakit mo ibaban?
Yeah.
Give me one good
I want to
reason.
bring it up to what are your thoughts?
Ako rin eh.
Hindi, kasi sa akin,
Estudyante
I coach San Beda for 5 years. All those 5 years, meron kaming foreign player.
Estudyante, di ba?
Estudyante.
Tsaka paano kung Pilipino na yung abroad? Paano kung ganun din ang rule nila? Hindi palalaroin yung Pilipino doon?
Hindi. I was going there.
Yeah.
Kasi dito sa amin, sa San Beda, wala namang kaso whether foreigner ka o hindi ka. Ang kailangan, magaling ka. Estudyante ka, magaling ka, pwede ka maglaro para sa amin. Ngayon, ang masama nun, kung San Beda lang ang inaalaw magkaroon ng foreign player. Hindi naman, di ba? Lahat naman kayo pwede kumuha eh. Ayaw nyo lang. Di ba? Sabi nyo, kasi all Filipino kasi kayo, meron kayong MVP magsusupport ng ganyan.
I'd like to think, Frankie, na merong nagsalita sa boardroom siguro. Just to interrupt. I'd like to think na may nagsalita siguro sa boardroom na huwag na masyadong magastos eh. Would that have come to that discussion?
Hindi, kasi
umabot ba ng gano'n?
Ang naririnig ko, kasi kayo may MVP na magsusupport, ganyan. Sagot ko, di maghanap kayo ng MVP nyo.
Yeah.
Kasi sa laki na eskwelahan nyo, walang mag-support sa inyo, hina nyo.
My point of view is that we have rules eh.
Right.
Ako ang nakikita ko as an outsider, I don't belong to the board. Nababali nila yung rules eh. Diba? So, if you play in the rules, okay lang. Kung talagang foreign student athlete, kung totoo naman, hindi problema yon, diba?
Hindi, kasi ito ang take ko. Kasi, naiinis sila sa San Beda kasi laging nagcha-champion. Laging panalo. Tama ba, Henry?
I will
Tama ba ako?
Ako nagtanong, hindi ako sasagot.
Hindi, kasi ganon ang dating sa San Beda. Kasi lagi na lang kayo nagcha-champion. Kasi lagi kayo may foreign, kami wala. Problema ko ba yun?
Kaya lang bilib na ako sa San Beda foreign players. Eh.
I will answer after all of you.
Hindi, kasi
Henry,
what would you feel kung ikaw Pilipino, gusto mo sumali sa NCAA sa US? At sinabi sa iyo, hindi ka pa pwede maglaro kasi Pilipino ka foreign ka What would you feel? Diba?
Henry, question.
Yes.
Itong mancom na nagtanggal ng foreign players sa NCAA.
Actually, coach,
feeling ko hindi masyadong napag-isipan. Kailangan yun, open ka. Kasi ang basketball, NBA nga Ilan ang foreign players sa NBA? NBA
na yun.
Jerry, what's your question?
Ilahan sa Amerika. Kung ilan ang foreign recruits nila.
Henry, question.
Nagpupunta lahat yan sa Africa just to recruit. Nagpupunta sa Yugoslavia o sa Serbia, so whatever. Para mag-recruit ng college players. And they're fine with it. Wala namang problema. Bakit dito sa NCAA? may problema.
Henry, question. Is it true sa old rule sa team, you could field in parang 30% of foreign players noon na? Is it true? Merong ganong rule before?
Okay, kasi now that you're asking me, yes, there was a rule of that long time ago. But then what they did was they made it into a maximum of 2 players per team, and
parang,
you can
everybody was complaining about it, di ba? Kasi sabi ko, if there was a rule na 30%, that's about 5 players per team, right? We only have 1. So ano yung complaint?
Actually, 40%, Jerry. 40%.
Say 40? Okay.
Yeah. So what happened there was that after that they made it into a 2-player.
40.
Yeah. So
2 players in the team and you can only field 1 at a time.
1.
Yes, that was the time.
Sorry to butt in, no? Meron pa akong isang narinig. Nasabi ko na.
One at a time.
No. Kinukuha ng foreign player yung playing time ng local.
Isa pa yun.
Isa yun, di ba? O yung opportunity ng local nawawala dahil doon sa foreign player. Wrong. Alam mo to, Jerry, G-Boy, yung team natin noong 2010, we had...
Hola.
No.
Sudan.
Sudan. Sudan yun.
Sudan.
Sudan din yan.
Kung 2010, bilangin nyo kung ilan ang nasa PBA ngayon. Nawalan ba ng
nahasa? Ang sinasabi mo, coach, nahasa.
Correct. You lift the level, especially in practice.
That's very true.
I agree with that. Yeah, totally agree with that.
Nauuso ngayon
Just imagine if puro bobo player mo, what kind of practice can you hold?
Yeah.
Di ba nga, coach, ang nauuso ngayon, yung lumalabas yung mga teams to join tournaments para mahasa?
Ang laro mo, kasama-sama. Diba? Walang nanakawan ng opportunity. Marcelo, Kyle Pascual, ay di ba lahat nasa PBA? Jake Pascual, di ba nasa PBA lahat ngayon? Nanakawan ba ng opportunity? Sagutin niyo ako. Diba?
Sa UAAP ata, coach, sumali na kayo sa amin. Ikaw na sumali kasi sa UAAP parang hindi pa napapag-usapan yung pagkabawal.
Kaya alam mo, that's my one wish. Na sana UAAP accepts ang
ilan players sa UAAP nasa PBA ngayon? May foreign players doon, ha? Nawalan ba ng opportunity? Nabigyan nga ng hanap buhay,
Kaya nga eh. So,
ano yung klaseng rason yun na pinatukuhanan ng opportunity?
Uy, isang ano yan, that's one whole episode, George. Bob.
And I will have to invite
politics, basketball politics.
The politics of basketball.
Just go.
For me, if UAAP invites
players, giving opportunity, given free education. Diba? Yun ang sa akin eh. Pero mo, nahihirapan pumasok sa eskwelahan sa Nigeria, sa Africa, whatever. Dito nabibigyan mo ng libreng edukasyon. Diba? At hindi mo sasabihin na nandito lang yan para maglaro. I'll give you an example. Si Ola, after college, nag-masters.
Yeah.
O ngayon, tapos ng masters.
Di ba may nagpari pa? Di ba may nagpari pa?
Wala. Hindi ko alam yun.
Uy, sa amin si Ike, si Ike graduated, di ba, Coach Enzo?
Yeah, he did.
Dapat gano'n.
Coach, hello.
Kailangan nag-aaral.
Yeah.
Kailangan nag-aaral.
Yeah,
yung mga
actually,
naging player na, hindi naman nag-aaral.
Hello.
Diba? Yeah.
If I may share, si Sam Ekwe now is a successful businessman in... Hello.
Yeah,
right.
Hello.
Go ahead.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Ekwe, successful business in Los Angeles. He's one of the biggest trader of second-hand cars in Nigeria right now. And the late Sudan din, I'm sorry to to say.
Sudan, yeah.
He was after he stayed in San Beda, he became a executive.
Oh, nawala na naman. Sorry.
Yes, in Sudan, he became an executive for the Titan Group, the Titan Sport
yung
Group.
sports.
The late Sudan.
Yeah.
I would say, Henry, do
It's
you
also
think...
raising the bar, di ba? Nung competition. Kasi pag in future, pag nalaro ka sa PBA, makakatapat ka ng import. Pag laro ka sa Gilas, hindi puro foreigner yung kalaban mo.
Ito nga, sabi nga ni Praisler Alfonso, Almazan himself admits his improvement is due to Ola as opponent. Dahil tama ka, coach kung bobo yung kalaban mo,
ano ka gagaling?
Oo, right.
Hindi, di ba? Kasi nga, coach, di ba, nauso nga yung mga players, yung mga teams lumalabas ng bansa to compete. Everyone knows na Ateneo, ginagawa yan. Lasal, ginagawa yan. San Beda, ginagawa rin yan.
San Beda ginagawa.
Yeah. So it's tama si Coach Frankie tinataas mo yung level ng laro.
Yeah.
Di ba the best way, let's say in golf, the best way to become a good golf player is to play with the best.
Yeah. Yeah, si Bianca Pagdanganan is a classic example. Nung una, nasa Gonzaga siya, she realized she had to transfer schools to play with the best. So she transferred to Arizona. And now,
look at what happened.
I remember when I was younger, siguro mga 10, 12 years old ako noon, you have to play with guys like 15, 16 years old para mahatak ka.
Better than you.
Better than you. Para gumaling ka. Makakuha ka ng experience. You know how it is. You know?
Di ba matalo ka muna
Doesn't matter. Diba? Basta nakalaban mo si ganito na 4 years older than you. Then you beat him. Diba? At laking for the confidence level. The same thing sa NCAA.
I'll just give you an example. Coach,
you have to play with the best para umangat yung level nung program o nung basketball, di ba?
Yung Jason, sorry nung nandun si Benoit Embala. You're unbeatable, di ba? And so, we have to admit that. Parang there was no way to beat them. But it became talunin natin sila and we're able to do it. Diba?
It pushes you to better your program, to better your talent level as well.
And the player and the talent level of Lasal that time, di ba? Nag-field nga si Coach Aldin ng all black team, di ba?
But it's never been just about the imports hindi yun It's about the team lagi.
During time, they were the super team. I have to admit that they were the super team. Ang galing, di ba?
They were scary. They were scary.
I remember.
Ito pa isa. For marketing purposes. O di ba? Mas exciting panoorin yung UAP kasi may foreign players. Andun Ateneo Lasal. Diba? Pakita mo yung Ateneo, may foreign player. Yung Lasal, may foreign player.
Lahat naman, coach. Pati UE meron. Pati Adamson. Lahat naman.
I know. So, mas exciting. You look forward to watching the competition. Diba? Yeah. Para ka nasa circus. You have to show different elephants every time. Diba?
Sa UAAP kasi
that's an analogy.
Nice analogy.
Kailan nag-umpisa sa UAAP? Henry, when was the first time you had a foreign
student
player? Student athlete. Who? It wasn't Ben.
Well, in the ends, no, sa Lasal we never had. We only had one. The first one ever was
Pearson.
Was actually Pearson. No. We had no. Pearson is Phil Ame. Pearson became Filipino. Okay, the one that we had the foreigner that in our era was sila Jason, yung mga Yugoslavian players natin.
Sila Marco,
Indonesian player.
Matricevic and
Marco.
Yeah.
Matricevic.
Marco.
Yeah.
The one in Green Hills.
Yeah, and then
Si
yung isa,
Ferdinand.
yeah. Well, again, guys, to answer your questions to all of that, okay, and Frankie, you have to give me the floor also, is that during those times, okay, I was in the board, and the original idea was really just to not have two foreigners, but just have one. Okay? Why? The logic there behind is that if you have a 6'5", at that time, in the 80s, and sorry, in the 90s, early 2000, if you have a 6'7" player, 6'8" player na Filipino, matangkad na yun, di ba? During the time. So what was happening was that if you have two giants of 6'8", 6'10", your 6'7", 6'8" na Filipino will never be able to step foot in the Araneta Coliseum unless, as what you say, he has to be the best. But the concept is, the UAP and NCAA is supposed to be a grassroots. We're not supposed to get them as that star right away, which is
That's
happening
good,
now. But the concept before was it's supposed to be grassroots. So if before, when you have a 6'7" or 6'8" na Filipino, pure blood, paano siya papasok as a center in college when you have two behemoths, all right? We have to be very factual and have to be very honest. Two giants to take over. So the idea was to have just one. Now, you just cannot say, you cannot have a rule only for basketball. The rule for one is the rule for all. So
all sports.
You have to look at also the other sports. Okay, so you have 7-footers in volleyball. You have 7-foot foreigners in swimming, in football. See, you just cannot say, we cannot just have one rule in basketball. I'm talking as a board member before when I was listening to them, because you have to look at it as a whole. The students also, of course, we say, yeah, but basketball really takes care of everything. Takes care of the finances, takes care of marketing, the schools get to be known, and so forth, so on. Agreed. But you have 360 athletes that are also fighting for your school in the different sports, and you want to give them also their time to shine, diba? So that's why you have to look at it as a holistic idea. Now, number two, our foreigners before when we were not K2 plus 12, when we were our foreigners only had the life playing basketball between 3, maximum 4 years. Why? When they arrive in the Philippines, they're either 20 or 21 already. The likes of Ateneo player now is one of the few ones that started with you in high school. Of course, you have others, but not the Africans or the Nigerians or whatever, right? But they started with you in grade school, high school, very young, and entered college at age 18, 19, no? But before, when we would recruit foreign players, especially from Africa, from Nigeria, from all of the different Middle East, that side of the world, they come in at age 20. And what is our rule? Hanggang 24 ka lang. You cannot go over that. So you're talking about a position that a Filipino who needs schools, who needs to be educated, all right, and wanting to be educated, and also wanting to be part of the PBA, they have been replaced by a 4x2, okay? Which will, I agree with you, they graduate and they're good. But how many ba talaga? And will they be able to help us? In that board before, I'm giving you all the different discussions. And then ang sinabi nila, eventually we train them, and when they go abroad, they will compete against the Philippines. And that's also happening now in the NBA. Now your question is, what about what happens in these other countries if a Filipino goes there and not be able, and then they say, you cannot play because you're a foreigner. Well, the economics and the environment is totally different. Our schools here, you can say, no matter what you want to say, that Zambeda is well-funded, Ateneo is well-funded, La Salle is well-funded, and all the other schools. But all the schools here are also struggling. I'm sure most of you know that. Why do we have booster clubs? Why do we have alumni supporting? Why do we have a Manny Pangilinan or a Lucio Tan or a Danding Coangco before? Because the schools also have to allocate everything to the other sports as well, and not just in basketball. Okay, so as what you said, there was a joke a while ago. Kasi mahal pag foreigner. That's a joke, but it's technically true. Their needs are very different. Their food is very different. their attitude, and like what happened to Embala. Why he left was because he couldn't take the Filipino culture also, because how he was being bashed after that first year and so forth. So, but I'm talking about the mentality. I have talked with Ekwe before when was here when I was in the NCAA. We had heart-to-heart talks, and he was sharing with me all his struggles as well. No, so what I'm just saying is that NCAA kind of took it too hard and got rid of all of them, which I was also in a little bit disagreement, because all I was saying was we should just have one, so that that person, that foreigner playing, can be replaced by a Filipino during the game, diba? So that, and that's what you said. To have a better person there, you will become better. Totally agree. All right, but if you have two better persons, and this lowly Filipino who's a 6'7", 6'8" cannot get in because his positions are taken care of, how will he be prepared for the PBA? He will never have his time to shine. You know, so those were the discussions. That's why in the UAAP they maintained a one foreign player, and I think they're gonna stay with that forever. Now, with regard to what you're saying, about rules, okay, before, and I can say this much, the rules were, I call them the gospel, because it's always the gospel according to the gospel according to this, the gospel according to that. And what the two bodies have done now is they came up now with a rule book. They removed the rules from the, shall we say, constitution, and then they made it into rules, which can be changed, but the boards have to agree on when the changes will be. And I totally agree with you. There's a lot of politics going on, and that's why the UAAP changed its format. Before, it was just the board. Now, there's a MANCOM na, and then the board. And it became like the NCAA, wherein the presidents are the final say. Unlike before in the UAAP, the presidents had no say in the board. But they had the say, of course, telling us what to do. While in the NCAA, you have the MANCOM, and the final say is the board. So I think, frankly, it's a cultural thing that we really have to work on. I think the alumni, the schools, they're changing. There's a lot of youth going now in the board. They're more young now. They're younger. And maybe their minds will be more open. Unlike as what sabi niya ng, ano tawag doon, toxic titos or cliques. And then the rivalry in the boards are very strong. Okay, like I said before.
Is that changing, Henry? I mean, the culture of rivalry, yung harangan ko tong eskwela na to, harangan ko to. Is that happening? Are there alliances?
Oh, yes. There are strong alliances, and I'm telling you there is. And what happened is that now the UAAP created they have a executive director, okay, who's like the commissioner.
Which are the presidents, diba?
No. You have an executive director who is running the show. Before it was ASE. Okay, now there's an executive director running especially basketball. And then you have the board. Okay, so you have the UAAP MANCOM that will, shall we say, enforce the rules. But when it comes to policies and changes, it's now the president. And then you now have a sagisag to run the show. So that's the biggest difference. I think that's the biggest change. Because before, partners, we have a technical committee. We make a decision on the technical committee. It's supposed to be already final and executory. It goes to the board. Approved na yan. Tapos may appeal. Pagdating ng appeal, you're appealing to the same people that agreed on the first decision. And what other new evidence can you show?
Bureaucracy, okay. Politics.
But now they now establish setups, which is very good. You know, this is all learning, and we're all learning about this. It's a constant.
Why can't you do the same in NCAA? No, merong executive director who runs the show.
Yan ang tinutulak namin na yun.
Nakakatawa nga yung NCAA dahil they hire a commissioner for 1 year. Tapos wala na.
Yeah, but in fairness naman with the NCAA, ang maganda naman sa NCAA was this: whatever the commissioner decides in his technical committee, 98% a-approvean
98.
ng board, ng board, approvean ng board. Hindi nila ko-kontra. Unlike sa UAAP noon. Okay? UAAP noon, yung Commissioner Technical Committee may decision na, yung Technical Committee nag-decision na, pero pwede pa rin palitan. Okay?
Hindi, kasi ako isa lang talagang tingin ko dyan, si Coach Frankie talagang gustong makatapat ulit Ateneo at Lasal.
Oo.
Kaya papasukin na kami sa UAP.
Well, don't we all want to see that? Gusto namin makita.
Kaya bumalik na kayo sa NCAA.
Or magtayo na lang kayo ng Big 3 tournament, kayo na lang.
O yan, Big 3.
Na natin iba. Para mawala na yung politics ng ibang Sorry to advocate this, pero mukhang kailangan magtayo ng bagong constitution at lahat bagong structure.
Pero Henry, I believe you would agree if Sambeda joins the UAP, it will be good for the league. Tama?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Kasi, ang dami
pero alam mo, meron akong dyan meron akong agam-agam dyan. Kasi nga, tayo lang tatlo nandito, parang may sigurado. Mo yan mga yan. Mga elitista yan, mga Tapos, igaganan mo pa. So, ang sa akin, maganda yung kay Coach Frankie kung magagawa Yung isang tournament. Kasali lahat. Diba?
National tournament Pero rerespetuhin ng lahat ng member. Hindi yung tune up game lang yung national tournament.
I don't know kung narinig nyo during the time of Coach Frankie. Si Montinolo of FEU was thinking, di ba Coach, of inviting us for one season as guest team lang for the UAP.
Testing.
Never happened, sayang. Parang lang, just to feel it. Something like that. It never happened.
Hindi naman problema yun. Alam mo, easily
during my
I can
time,
tell you.
Lagi kong ka-practice game, di ba? FEU. Meron kami series, parang best of 5, best of 7.
Right.
Just for
grudge games.
preparation.
Yung Lasal FEU. Parang
Sino may karapatan mag-green, Sino may karapatan magsuot ng green?
Ano yan, di ba? Di ba there's an ongoing feud between the two
even in
green
the province, even in the Cebu games, di ba?
Yes.
Di ba?
Free for all.
Yun ang mindset ni Anton di ba? Matalo na sa lahat, wag lang sa Lasal.
Atenista yun
Atenista rin yun
Lahat ng nakaupo sa staff niya, Ateneo yun Si Tixon, si Molina, sino pa? Panay players ng Ateneo.
Ay, teka, I think talaga magkakapartner tayo dito dahil overtime na tayo But before anything else,
next time, kalahating araw.
Yun na nga Okay, Gary, parting words.
Anyway, it was nice seeing you guys and having this talk. It was really fun. We got to share different ideas about the game, about everything. So, I just wish everyone be safe, take care, and hope na magsama-sama tayo in one league soon. Take care, guys. Thank you very much.
And of course, ang magiging presenter nun, Tita pa ring Sumang Latik.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Maraming salamat, Gary.
Okay, you're welcome.
Jason.
Thank you, and Ateneo Bulok. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You should. Henry.
Hi, Henry.
Well, all I say is that Camarade, yes, right. Thank you for inviting me. And guys, rivalry is good. Rivalry is very good. Okay, it's not evil. Rivalry brings out the best in everybody. It's how you do. It's what you do by bringing out or how you do it. But rivalry is very important because without that, you'll not be able to gauge yourself on where you are. No, and I guess Ateneo, Sambeda, Letran, Lasal, and I guess the other schools, but more these two other schools that will not be named anymore after this talk, is that they bring up the best in us. Not only in sports, but in everything. And thank you so much for the opportunity. And again, Yay and Gap, our batch truly apologizes for what happened way back in 77.
Thank you, Henry. Coach, your words.
Yeah. Thank you for inviting me here. You know, I don't do this often. So, excited ako pagdating sa mga ganito.
Ulitin natin, Coach. Ulit tayo.
Oh, sure. Just let me know. And to everybody, thank you very much for listening to me.
Coach, maraming salamat.
One of the episodes I want to have here, Bob, yung time ni Ron Jacobs, sina Coach Frankie, ganyan, those days, NCC days. That would be a very good topic of the discussion.
Tapos have the players, no? Sila Chip Engeland, sila ano.
Ayun. More.
Dapat i-guess mo si Charlie doon.
Yeah, oo. Yay. Your turn.
Okay. Tama naman si Henry that rivalry is good. Kaya Henry, Jason, better luck next time kasi miss na natin kayo. Final four man lang. Kasi parang
Mag-final four naman kayo, pambihira.
Parang idol nyo na si Tirso Cruz, the Pip eh.
Okay yun.
So Henry, that's part of it. Nakabawi naman ako nung when we won season 80 kasi pagpasok ko sa Sachi, our favorite restaurant, you were having dinner and nakipag-toast naman ako sa inyo. So, guys, Jason, I love you. Henry.
We love you guys. Coach.
Maraming salamat. George, Gary, Coach, Frankie.
As usual.
Thank you very much.
See you guys. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach.
Your turn.
Thank you.
On behalf of...
Well,
some of the guys are not here anymore, but we appreciate your being here. Thank you very much. Nahirapan lang siguro makabalik through the internet. At, third world internet tayo. Including Teddy Perenya, ating isa pang co-host, who would like to thank Pakyo Fresh Socks and Underwear.
Huwag kayo kukuha ng prepaid. Yun lang yun.
Wag prepaid.
Or dial-up.
Non-existent na blast eh. Part 2 tayo.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we need the part 2.
Gaya nga nasabi ni Olen, all alpha males. So we need more time to have this discussion. And thank you all of you.
That's the fun element of it, George. Yun ang masaya dun eh. And we appreciate it really. At salamat din sa BioFresh Shocks at saka sa Design Makati.
Bye guys.
And of course, next week, don't forget UAAP, Classic UAAP. Next week. We'll have the players, Ed Cordero, Emer Legaspi. We'll have Etok Lobo, and of course, Yang Diao. No?
And probably Louis Alasco.
Yung show na yun, may 20% discount pala dual citizen.
20% na lahat yun. No? So till then, thank you so much. Abe King, thank you. I think he's watching, Abe King from San Francisco. No? So that's it. Good night. God bless. Ad Maiorem Dei Gloria.
Bye.